Thank you. I hope we're having a good time, children. You've been working really hard so far. Can we give a round of applause for the work, children? So, parents, buckle up. This might get a little controversy. Please don't attack the children. Don't attack anybody. Have mercy on us, please. Thank you. So we have two guests, two parents actually. Women, a parent woman and a parent man. Could we please have, for the women's side, can we please have Mrs. Obasa and Sister Dami, please? And can we stop as we welcome them on the altar?
And for the men, can we have Mr. Olaleko Bunyemi and Mr. Precious?
It'll be easy, no pressure, right? The first question is, what age is appropriate for kids to have social media?
Praise the Lord. I'm going to say, based on how I did mine, what works for me. For my children, for the big one, he actually didn't have a phone until it was about, I think 10th or 12th, the 11th grade. Because I needed to talk to him to pick him up from school, but he didn't have until then. But it depends on the situation. There are some that you probably need to give your child a phone to be able to communicate with them. So you can't just say it's a conventional thing.
I always wake up and be like, I love my life. So if you're really living a great life,
But ideally, I mean, a child, based on what is going on the social media right now, I think a child has to grow to be able to differentiate what is good from what is bad based on the upbringing. That's all I can say.
And also, I also feel like it's very important to know that each child is different. So depending on how, some children are a little bit more, in better words, exposed to some negative things in society, you might want to try your best to, protect them from that. So it's different children have, they're all different. Personally, I believe that around 13 to 14, when they start getting into middle school, as she said, forms of communication with parents is very important. And also with that, you're always going to be with them. So make sure that you're, watching what they are doing on social media, Instagram, especially TikTok, and all those social media platforms.
Man, do you have any contributions?
Praise God. There's nothing different from what they've said. But the truth of the matter is, first of all, that questions you should ask yourself as a parent. What does that child want to do on social media? That's the first question. Before I joined TikTok, Snapchat, and the other apps, I looked at it first. What am I going there to do? And I've realized these days on Facebook and Instagram, some of the ads you see are mostly pornographic and things that shouldn't be for kids. So what I do for myself is, for my daughter Sharon, for example, she has a phone and the phone is only for calls. I only call her when I think maybe there are times I and my wife will go out and we leave her at home just to keep on her. She doesn't take it out, she comes to church, we drop her in church, she doesn't come with the phone, she goes to school, she doesn't go with the phone. What does she need the phone for? Nothing. I only give her the phone because we're not going to reach her. And then for social media, why does the child want to be on social media? Is the child making money from social media, or she just wants to, or he or she wants to feel at home? The truth is, we must censor these things. I understand we're in America, but the truth is, we know where we're coming from. And outside that, we know the trainings our parents give to us, and we are not spoiled. Despite the fact that sometimes we want to drift a little bit, but we are not spoiled. We still know the things that are right and wrong. So why don't we learn to train our children that way, with the help of God? Not just letting them loose and allowing them because we are in America. The truth is, when it backfires, the blame comes back to you as a parent. Praise God.
Praise the Lord. With the whole
said it all. So I'm just gonna have a little chat into what they have said. So with respect to social media, I'm not. I'm a liberal person, but I don't really support a child staying too much on the phone, on Facebook, on Instagram and stuff. Because even as an adult, you also come across things on social media that you're like, oh, what's this? You quickly just flip it out. But for a child who is just growing, those things might start to excite them, and they spend time on such. And because they are just forming that life skills and growing, you don't want them to spend so much time in learning things that will not really edify them. And so I'm just going to say that even if you are going to allow your child to start being on social media, being on Facebook, Instagram and stuff, you need to really censor what they do on social media. Don't just give them the free will and let them do whatever they want to do on social media. Thank you.
Our next question is, what exactly is the reason behind the limitations put on sleepovers, especially girls over boys? Because these days our parents very rarely let children go out to sleep over at their friends' house. So we want to ask for the reason why.
Well, it's not a thing I subscribe to. From the beginning, I actually let my children, in fact, none of my children, I can say a few times they've actually gone to spend the night outside, even back in Nigeria and even here. Now, there are two things. I didn't say it's a bad thing, but for your child to live under your roof to go spend the night with someone else, number one, you get to know the kind of parents they are going to make. Number two, you get to know so much about the child your child is going to spend the night with. Because at the stage they are, they can easily be perverted. It's a pair thing, it's a pair group thing. So for you to leave your child to go spend the night, they're going to be together for a certain number of hours. They can influence them positively and negatively. So for me, I'm sorry, it's a no.
Praise the Lord. I definitely agree with her. When I was growing up, I didn't have sleepovers either. And now that I'm a mom, I understand why. The world is different, and it just continues to get more crazy out there. And you don't know the values, the standards that parents have. So, when you are telling your kids to go spend the night at another family's house, you don't have any control of what's going on there anymore. You can't protect them. And, kids can be easily influenced. So as Mommy said, also, you have to know the parents. Personally, if, my daughter starts getting to that age, I'm gonna go to the sleepover with her to make sure it's true. I mean, if I feel like I'm able to let her go, I have to be friends with the mom, with the dad, and we can all sleep over together. Because that's my child, and I have to make sure she's protected, regardless of if I know, I trust them, but at the same time, it's still my child, and I have to protect her.
This time I like to ask questions because it guides me, it gives me direction. Why does he or she wants to sleep over? Why does a friend want you to come over? What is going on? What's happening? Is it that you guys have discussion to do, or you have assignments, or you have movie to watch and everything? I said, I would like to know the reason why. And then if I feel the reason is justifiable, why don't you go there during the day and do what you have to do? And then you come back home. Why do you want to sleep over? I don't think we should overflow this issue. Like they said, you know the parents, you know the child. Of course, sometimes children are different from their parents. The parents might be very principled, but the child, you don't know who that child has mingled with, and then the child is otherwise. So the thing is, you can't really, there's no straight line to it, but with wisdom, definitely you get the best out of it. Praise God.
For me also, just like my brother here have said, that the first question I would want to put into consideration is, why are you going over there to sleep over? And if I looked at it and I see that, well, it really doesn't, I mean, sleeping over is just you wanting to go over there and sleep till the next day. So you can sleep in your house. Like, why are you going over there to sleep? That's my own opinion. Whatever you want to do, you can do it in the day. If you are going to study together, why not study in the day? Why are you going to sleep over? That's the question I would ask. If you can convince me and give me a cogent reason why you should sleep over, then we can look at it together and agree whether you are sleeping over or whether you are going over there during the day and do whatever you want to do and come back home and sleep. Thank you.
Answers. Wow. Okay, our next question, can we have an order, please? Okay, our next question. Children, make sure you're listening. Okay, so we kids deserve respect as well as the parents do, right? Kids and parents both deserve respect. So how best can we talk to our parents without being disrespectful or rude?
Praise the Lord. It depends on the situation, or it depends on the circumstance that you have on ground. For me, I'm sorry, I am old school parents. Initially, I'm sorry, my children never used to have any say. That's the truth. My son is here. He's over 20. They never used to have a say. But gradually, I'm beginning to realize sometimes their opinion may be different from mine, and I'm beginning to give them a chance to talk. But it now depends on the upbringing. Now, I'll give an example. My daughter, she was supposed to travel for an event. And then when she came to tell me about it, I said, you know what, don't talk about it. You know I won't listen to you. So she went to the brother and told our eldest brother. And I mean, he's an adult, so he has a way of talking to me. So he told the brother, and the brother called me and said, Mommy, can you tell me what said so? And this is the reason, this is the reason, this is the benefit, this is the advantage. And I was able to speak with the father. So it depends on the family and the upbringing. A child can talk to a parent without being rude, even in this environment. But it depends on how you have been able to let them know being rude and for being respectful. So that's all I can say.
Yes, I do agree with that. Definitely, you can portray your ideas, or if you have something to say, you can say it very respectful. However, coming from, the way I was brought up, it was more of, this is what I want, this is what you're gonna do, you can't talk, that's it. And now that I have my own child, I might tweak some things a little different, because, sometimes you have kids, they're growing and they're seeing things outside and they want to ask questions. They want to know why. And as a parent, I feel like we need to be a little bit more open and have a conversation with our kids and say, this is why I told you not to do so. And try to explain to them so they can see where you're coming from. At the same time, don't shut them off. Understand where they're coming from so there can be an open relationship with you and your children. Because once they see that it's closed, they, that can turn them against you, and they can start receiving, different opinions from the outside. And I've seen that happen to so many people that we grew up with together. And, I had to have that conversation with my mom that when we were growing up, I understand that there were so many, she's busy working over hours, trying to make sure she's providing for us. But there were some times that I felt that I was just shut off. At the same time, let her know that you need to be respectful, because that just goes in every area of life.
Okay, as a parent, let me start this way. How do you talk to people around you? How do you treat people around you? Always remember this. Your child watches how you talk to people. Don't think they are so small. Be it 1 year, 2 years, they see how you treat people, they see how you talk to people. If you're the type that you easily use vulgar words on people, believe me, they'll start using those words. And it is not far-fetched, they will use it on you. That's the truth. But if you're cautious of how you use these words, there was a time my wife had issue with someone back home and she was on the phone and our kids were in the car, and then I knew she wanted to use certain words. I told her, babe, hold on. She wanted to vent her anger. I took the phone from her and ended the call. Not because I didn't want her to vent her anger. I always like people, yes, with wisdom, express yourself and then trash out what you want to trash out, but not at the detriment of your children's psychological health, their mentality. When we got home, I told her, do you still want to talk about this issue with this person? She said yes. I said, okay, go into the bathroom, lock yourself up, and say all what you want to say. Please be careful, don't say these things in front of these kids, because they will pick these things up, and when you do these things continuously, they will pick it up and they will start saying
praise God. So what I'm going to say is that for our children, when they have concerns or they have questions, and what we need to do is to encourage them and listen to them, because sometimes being rude, if I get what Dami said, is that when children talking to their parents, that sometimes they are rude, right? So, well, I think as parents, in this dispensation that we are in, we need to take things slow, because these children I'm not saying they are more intelligent than the parents, but they are kind of advanced in their thinking and the way they tend to analyze things. So we need to really take things slow, listen to them, and process whatever they are saying before we pass judgment. So I'm just going to say that because
thank you both thank you all for this video. Our next question is going to be directed toward the women, if you have any daughters. So we want to ask the question, how can your daughters dress in modesty while pursuing trends? Because today in schools and shopping malls and everywhere, we see people dress in all kinds of fashion in order to follow TikTok trends and Instagram trends. Do you believe there's a way they can balance following the trend and dressing in a Christ-like way?
Absolutely yes. There are ways you can dress to portray modesty and even still be a little bit trendy. But the first example is you as a parent. The way you dress, your children are looking at you. You should be an example. Like what I tell people, when my daughter, when she starts growing up, I tell them, I say, the number one example is what they see, not even what you tell them now, but what they see you do. So the way you dress, you portray yourself. If you are the type that opens your body, you don't see anything bad in opening your body. But the time your daughter does it, you can't tell her not to do it, because she will tell you, especially children of that, they'll tell you, Mom, but you do it, so you can tell me not to do it. So I believe with the word of God, if they have the word of God in them, if you like I mean, if you sow the seed of the word of God in them, that will let them know their body is the temple of the Lord and they can't just treat it anyhow. My daughter tried it once. She wanted to go for, when she got to 10th grade, I think they were having prom, and said she was going to put on. I said, well, you can't put it on. This is open. Your body is out. You can't wear it. You've never seen me want this kind of a thing. You can still look very pretty and still presentable. The way people see, they look at it, what they see, the way they see you is the way you're going to be addressed. And as a child of God, you can't do it. It's a no for me. So in as much as a parent, you can take a stand and let them realize this is you and this is you. By the time they become an adult, they're on their own world, they can, but I tell you, whatever you instill with them will still grow with them. So that's it.
Okay, you have to cut it shortly. Thank you, parents, so much for the advice, parents. Hopefully children were listening. Yes, it was kind of hard to swallow, but hopefully they were listening. Okay, lastly, parents. As the parents told us what they needed us to know, like you asked the questions, parents, please tell you what you guys may need to know. Okay, so you guys are doing a very good job. I will give you that. You guys are amazing parents. Look at our children, the way they're performing. You guys are doing your job. You guys are doing amazing. But let us balance sensitivity and firmness. Like, make sure your child is able to talk to you. I always say this to my friends. I'm always saying to people, like, if your children are not talking to you, they will talk to somebody else. So please be careful. If they're not able to talk to you, and you're like, why is my child not talking to me? They're talking to somebody else, and that person may not be giving them the right advice. So make sure they'll be able to talk to you. The next one is place an emphasis on safety and responsibility and obeying the rule. So let us be strict, but let's also remember that it's good to have fun. Make sure they remember safety is always the utmost in all they're doing. Because if they're not safe, then there's no reason to be there. So make them realize, why are you going there? Is the reason you going there going to keep you safe? If not, then you shouldn't be going there. But also make sure you're not going there yourself, parents. Make sure you grow. So thank you everyone for listening to us. I hope we enjoyed the talk show. God bless you guys.